I think after the Northern Territory tourism job that we just done a few weeks ago, that was when it was sort of like, okay, if you actually want to do this, you can. Because like there's people out there that want you to work for them. Like, that was the coolest thing. Like I never expected myself to be doing this like 5 years ago at all. Like I always wanted to go traveling, but when we were talking to the lady from Tourism NT, she was like, well, at the start of the year, we wrote a wish list down of who we wanted to work with and what jobs. And the first names that come up were Hayley and I. It's like, they're like, we want these guys.
That's the company saying this to you?
Yeah, right. Tourism NT were like, we want Hayley and Kyle. that's our main priority, get them to do a job, which is like, that's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
Love that. And that was sort of when sort of clicked that like, fuck, you actually can do it if you want to.
Welcome to More Than Money with your host, Ross Murray. This episode of More Than Money is brought to you by More Time Financial, a financial planning company who are on a mission to help young Australians make smarter decisions with money by providing real-life financial advice, coaching, and financial education.
Hey, what's up? It's Ross Murray. Welcome back to another episode of More Than Money. On this podcast, I have real conversations about lifestyle, money, and business. Sometimes I share interviews with business owners and entrepreneurs about starting their own business and their journey. Other times we do financial education and informational episodes to help you make smarter decisions with money, just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Now, before we get started on today's episode, this is just a friendly reminder in order to keep our lawyers happy that in preparing this podcast, myself and any contributors have not taken into account any particular person's objectives, financial situation, or needs. So before acting on any of this information, you should consider its relevance to your personal circumstances, and if required, seek the assistance of a licensed professional. Welcome back to another episode of the Young Money Podcast. My guest on today's episode has been traveling the world for the past 3 years, living on the road with his partner Hayley, exploring over 35 countries including most of Europe, Jordan, Oman, Thailand, the Philippines, Indonesia, and many, many more. In that time, he has accumulated over 38,000 Instagram followers, posting photos of places that most people can only dream about traveling to. He was kind enough to take some time out of his busy schedule and sit down with me on the rare occasion that he was home on the Gold Coast, in between a month-long trip in the Northern Territory and WA, and before he leaves for a 3-month trip as he heads back to Greece. My guest's name is Kyle Hunter. He is 26 years old and he is an Instagram influencer, photographer, content creator, and full-time traveller. In this episode, Kyle shares what it was like to save up all his money and book a one-way ticket to the UK, the ups and downs of travelling, his favourite destinations, photography tips, money-saving tips to help you travel the world for less, how he now gets paid to post photos on Instagram, and how he's able to earn a living online to help fund his travels. I really hope you enjoy Kyle's story, and I highly recommend that you check out his Instagram page at Kyle_Hunter while you're listening to this episode.
So we got our ferry from Aos, the island we worked on, to Athens. We're in Athens airport, and this is probably the most stressful thing that's happened on our travels. We got through security and we kept all of our documents and passports and everything in. Hayley had like this purse, but it just fit everything in perfectly, so we left everything in there. And we went through security, got all our bags, whatever, took off, waited around for a couple of hours, got time to board our flight, and we always wait last to board our flight because then if we walk on and there's a spare aisle or a spare row, we'll take that.
Nice.
So it was like 5 minutes till the gate closes, so we walked over there. And I was like, Hayley, you get the passports out? She went to get them out. I think you got them, hey? Went through my bag, looking through my bag. No, you definitely have them. Literally tipping everything out of the bag, tearing them apart, couldn't find them. Yeah. So the flight's leaving in half an hour and we're, slowing it down and we're sprinting all over Athens airport, trying to find it. Like, this is at midnight, so no one's there. Yeah. Couldn't, half the people don't speak English, so we're running around the airport like a madman trying to find it. Got on the phone to the police who, all lost and found goes to. And I was there and I was panicking. I was breathing heavy. Hello, I've just lost my passport. I'm in Athens airport. And they literally just goes, "Is this Mr. Hunter? Mr. Kyle Hunter?" Yeah, we have your passport. Oh yeah, cheers, Haley.
What? They have like one passport sitting at the.
No, they found the whole thing. Haley forgot to put the purse back in our bag, and literally that was like panic stations, because if we lose that, we're in Athens airport with
nothing.
2 Australian passports gone. Like what do you do? Wait in Athens for 2 months till you get your passport back. So that was probably the most stressful situation.
So what they drive it.
They found it and they drove it to us, and literally we got on the plane, and it was just as soon as we got on, took off. Like, yeah, we weren't the most popular people on the plane, that's for sure. But that was probably the most stressful time.
So if you want to maybe take us right back to the beginning, what's your current story at the moment?
So 3 years ago, me and my partner Haley decided that we wanted to go travelling. So saved up all that cash and then booked a one-way ticket to Scotland, where I'm from. I was born there. So I went there, saw the family for about 2 weeks, and then just bought a camper van, and just took off. And for the next sort of 20 months, we travelled through all of Europe, went to Morocco, stayed in the van through the summers, and went back and worked in England in the winters. So that was about 20 months. And then from there, we went to Southeast Asia, travelled there for about 4 months backpacking, which is awesome. Seriously love that.
Yeah.
And then came home for about 4 months, worked, went back to Europe, worked in Greece for 4 months, went to the Maldives in that time where we worked with Ann and Tara, which was insane, which was amazing. From there, we went to Jordan for 10 days, which was probably one of the best experiences of my life. And then from Jordan, went to Oman, which was, insane. Like, you're in these places where especially Oman, because tourists don't really go there as much. Jordan, they do, because it's got like Petra and Wadi Rum and the Dead Sea. So they're used to seeing tourists. But when you go to Oman, like you talk to the Omani people. What are you doing here? Do you work here? Are you do you work in oil or? No, we're here on holiday. They just, why? Why are you here? Well, we want to see what it's like. But we don't, why don't you go to Greece, or why don't you go to Bali? Or they just didn't get it. But it was, honestly, that was probably the best. That was up there with the best 10 days of travel.
Did you fit in over there?
I didn't dark skin. Didn't have the beard at the time, but dark skin. But that was insane, hey? Hired a 4-wheel drive and just took off and just camped on the beach and just, insane. So then after that, came home to Australia and did a bit of travel through Australia, Northern Territory, Western Australia. And now, present time, going to India next week and then back to Greece.
So would you classify yourself as a full-time traveller?
Yeah, I probably would now. That's.
So when, at the moment, when someone asks you what do you do for work, what do you tell them?
I just say I work online instead of people.
So you're a drug dealer.
Yeah. But if I say I work, I'm an Instagrammer. Yeah. A lot of people are like, well, you're a wanker. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know that. So I'll say freelance photographer sometimes, or just work online.
Man of mystery.
Exactly. International man of mystery. Yeah. Because so many people just, if you say you Instagram supports your living or supports your travels, they think you're a wanker or you're talking shit or whatever. Yeah. So
what's the weirdest response you've got, from saying that?
The worst responses you get off are from other photographers, actual photographers.
Okay.
They hate it. Yeah. And
so it's what's cop out or something like.
Sorta, and I totally understand and see where they're coming from, because 5 years ago, before Instagram was huge, resorts or whatever, clothes companies they'd have to hire a photographer and pay them top dollar to get photographs of their resort. And nowadays they can just get Instagrammers to go there, give them a free stay, give them all all luxury stuff, and they'll do it for free, and they'll do probably a better job as well. So I can see what photographers are like, nah, this is bullshit.
Stealing our business.
Yeah, exactly. But a lot of them don't really, they give you a bit of a hard time. Yeah. Which I don't think it's fair. We're just out there giving it a crack as well. So
just trying to travel the world.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So that first decision, just when you decided to go traveling in the begining, was that out of you always wanted to do it, or you were sick of living here, or what was it going?
Nah, love living here, but we'd had the conversation probably a year before, about like wanting to not just go on a holiday,
Yeah.
but wanted to go traveling. Like we want to see it all. Yeah, it was just a goal of ours, and we just sort of started saving from there, and just took off. But it wasn't anything to do with I hate the Gold Coast or I loved it. I had a good job at the time. Loved living here. All my mates were here. It was tough going, and it was sad to leave them, and knowing that we're going for 2 years.
Yeah,
which was a little bit. You felt a little bit sad about that, but at the same time, you just knew what you were getting yourself into.
And when you decided to leave or planning that trip, did you have any idea what was going to happen over the next 2 years?
No, not at all.
Like,
we literally bought the van, and we're just like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah.
Like we had a rough idea of where we wanted to go on our So like the thing with Haley, because I've got the European passport, so I could stay in Europe for as long as I want. But with Hales, you can only be in Europe for 3 months at a time, and then back in the UK for 3 in the Schengen regions, which is the UK, Morocco, Croatia, and Bosnia, I think. So we sort of planned our trips around 3 months of travel.
Yeah,
that's all we really planned. Like when we got in the van, things changed. Like you want to go here, there, and everywhere. So. Yeah, we didn't plan too much, just that we had 3 months to work with, which we sort of extended that a little bit because we went to Morocco for a month, so that didn't count on Haley's visa.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, not a whole lot of thought went into it. It was like, we're buying this van, that's it. In hindsight, I sort of wish that we had a bit more time in the UK and bought a van that might have been a bit more suitable. The van was sick, but there were just some things that we were like, I wish we could do this, and like we couldn't stand up straight in it. It was sick. It was an awesome van, but like when you're cooking and I'm hunched over like that, it's Haley would cook on her knees and you're like chopping up. Sort of just winged it home.
So when you decided to leave, you said you saved up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have amount of money like planned? Did you say, right,
we wanted 50? We wanted 50 grand. And we're between us, and I think we left with like 46 or 47, which is good. Like, I was working full time. Haley was working part time and studying. Like we basically were waiting for her to finish her uni degree before we could go. Yeah. So she was like, for working part time, she saved really well. So I think we got 46 or 47.
And what did you do in that time? Was like, all right, here's the goal. Let's just cut back all of our expenses. Like, what was your kind of savings tips? I
wanted to save $500 a week, and I was paying $100 rent a week. So we just sort of, what would we come back on? Drinking. Yeah. It wasn't going out much. We still ate out for dinners because we love going out for dinner. So we'd still go out 2 or 3 times a week for dinner. But I think drinking was the main thing that I just stopped doing, because you know what it's like when you go out for a few beers, it turns out to be $150. Yeah. Easy. So I was aiming for 500 a week. I think she was just saving as much as she could because she wasn't getting a whole lot of shifts, but she ended up doing really well. But drinking was a big thing we cut out, and I wasn't drinking coffee at the time, which was so big. A lot of money. Now I drink coffee, I know how much money you go through on that. But man, just drinking. Stop doing it. Stop buying beers. And it's honestly saved me so much money. Yeah. Even now, I'm like going, I don't drink as much as I would want to sometimes. You know, you want to have a few beers, but I just know how much money it would eventually cost you.
I find it's usually all the other stuff that comes with it. Like, all right, going out for a few beers. So there's beers, and then it's like, right, we'll get some dinner. It's dinner. Maybe have a punt.
Get an Uber
some
home.
More beers. Uber home. Yeah. And there's all those things. So it's not just like just the beers. A lot of the other things that add up.
Exactly.
And you're wanting to go traveling. So it's like, all right, that's the goal. Mm-hmm. You set that 50 grand. And did it make things a lot easier once you're like, 50 grand? I've got
so much easier. Like, we were comfortable in Europe. We still budgeted. We budget like the way our first sort of 4 months in the van, because we were fresh in Europe and we're like, we got to try all the food and we got to do this and all that. We burnt through a bit of cash that time just because we weren't being smart about it. We didn't utilise the van, like the kitchen in the van, as much. But our second trip, so our first trip we did France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Bosnia, Slovenia, Croatia, and Morocco. So we sort of stuck to the west coast of Europe and southern Europe. And we, because we were in Spain and Italy and all that, we were eating out quite a bit. So we, blew a fair bit of cash doing that.
Yeah.
But our second trip, when we sort of went to Scandinavia and Eastern Europe, we were a bit smarter about it, and we cooked, 5 out of 7 nights out of the week in the van, and we did save so much money doing that. Like you can live cheap out of a van, like real cheap.
And that first bit of travel, that was all that just using your savings. That was like, right, we're just going to use the savings.
Yeah.
And we weren't working?
No, we didn't make money off, and we couldn't make money off Instagram at the time, because when we first started traveling, I had 800 followers, and Haley, I think, had like 3,000 or something like that. So we weren't really making money on the road. We only made money when we went back to England, and when we worked at the hotel there.
So what were you doing there?
I was bartending and Haley was a waitress, and we were like getting paid like £7 an hour. Like you couldn't keep your tips; you had to share your tips with everyone. And we were literally working like 60-hour weeks, just to sort of be able to save. And we did save when we were in England. We really saved because we weren't living in London. Yeah, we lived in Newquay in Cornwall. Okay, so we were like southwest, because it was never a plan to live in London, because you just know how expensive London is. We wouldn't have been able to save anything there. When the food and when you're partying, like everything, you're in the biggest city in the world. Like so you're not going to save money there. But we just worked at a hotel on the beach. It was really nice actually. But just worked our asses off there for another 4 months. I think we ended up saving it was close to like £4,000. Yeah, right. Which is like $7,000. Yeah, which is good for when you're only getting paid £7 an hour. Yeah. And we just used that money to go off again. Yeah. We still had money left, but you're always better. Feel better when you're more comfortable.
And was that your plan? It was like, all right, let's save travel, travel, like and
smash it. Like literally, we just smashed to work in England. Yeah. We still went up to Scotland at Christmas time and seen my family. We went to Leeds one weekend to see Elise and Bo. Went to London a couple of times, but pretty much smashed it for 4 months straight.
And then when was that point where it was like, we can make money online? Like, did that ever cross your mind?
Not my mind. Yeah. Not Haley. She knew that she wanted to be a travel blogger. I just wanted to travel. I never thought I could make money off it.
Did you know that was a thing?
Did not know it was. I knew some people made money off it, but only like these like really hot girls and like these like superstar guys. I knew they made money off it, but I never thought that we could. And it wasn't until I think this time last year we got a job for Estrella Dam, like a Spanish beer. Okay. So they sent me and Hales we were living in Eos at the time, so they sent us to Paros and Milos, 2 other islands, and they just wanted 30 photos for content for their social accounts. Yeah. And they paid us $5,000 for that, that was a good job. That was our first real job.
Sounds so like $5,000, $5 Aussie. Yeah. Yeah. So how long did you work in London for? Like when you said you were saving that money working
4 months.
So you spent 4 months working in London and you saved $7,000 and then you get your first
Instagram job.
Online Instagram job, and it pays you $5,000.
Yeah. That took us probably 2 months to do.
The work?
Or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And they were pretty picky with they wanted 30 photos, but we probably took 80 or 90. Yeah. And they said no to quite a lot of them, which still, it's not hard work, but it's draining when
still time consuming.
Yeah. And when you're taking a photo and you're going, oh, fuck, I don't know if I want this one. And that side of it's a bit annoying, but like when you look at it that way, it's crazy. Like the money that you can make online, especially with Instagram, when anything to do with like a company buying your image, that's where you make money. You're selling images to companies, because if they buy that for like worldwide use, but they can use it for anything. Yeah. So, you can't really lowball yourself for stuff like that. Like you need to put a price on it. Yeah. Because every other photographer out there would be doing that.
So let's dive into that a little bit further. So there's, from my limited knowledge of being an Instagrammer, which obviously I'm not. there's the ones you get a product, so you get a watch, you get some clothes, you
Yeah.
take a photo on, and you put it on your page.
Yeah.
So you get the free product, and you might get paid for that post as well.
Yeah.
But you're saying there's ones where you sell the image.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily post it on your page; you sell it to them.
This company, Captain and Son, which
Yep.
do watches, sunglasses, and now men's backpacks. So I work for them, and that's exactly right. So I just get them content. I
Yep.
don't post. I don't have to post anything. I just give them X amount of images, and they pay me for that.
Yeah.
That's not like a monthly thing. That's just like
Project, like
sorta, yeah. And then like once I give them the images, they'll sort of look back at it and say, "All right, this guy did a good job. We'll give him more money this time."
Yeah.
Stuff
so
like
would that would fall under content creator?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
what it's. You're not a photographer. You're a
Content creator.
content. And
Yeah.
for people listening, I'm doing the bunny. That's it comes under that, which sounds, people might look at it and just go, this guy's
There's a coffee loving
Yeah.
Instagram and content creator.
Yeah, hipster. Exactly.
with a beard and long hair.
Exactly. But that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, if like with my media kit, that's what I put myself as, a content creator,
This might be a good one. What do you put when you're going through customs? What do you write?
photographer.
Photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So like with the Anantara job, that was photographer. We did a job with Tourism Myanmar, which was sick, but that was a photography job as well.
Yeah.
When I went to Greece, that was photography, even though I was working in the bar, because when we first went there, it was for the Australian damn job.
Yeah.
So yeah, photographer. That's what you put it under.
So you, like, that first job happened,
Mhm.
and that was obviously as a result of both you and Hayley getting
Yeah.
up your following.
Mhm.
And then did it just keep coming? Like, was it, you got that first one, you're like, holy shit, we can actually make money online?
It was more for Hayley gets a lot more work than I do, because she's obviously a lot bigger account. But from there it's just just sort of picked up momentum. So we did. It was sort of like as soon as we went to Greece, as soon as we went back to Greece. Actually, no, that's false. It was when we went to Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
That's when the work started to roll in. Because,
And is it like, just like an email comes
Yeah.
in and be like, hey, love your page.
yeah, literally, man. Like,
Here's a blank check.
yeah.
Tell us how much you want.
I could sit here right now and someone could email me saying, hey, love your work. I own a watch company. We're just starting out. We've got a budget of this. We want you to take these photos.
Yeah.
Name your price. That doesn't always happen. Most of the time it's people emailing you going, hi, I will send you one metal straw, and can you post 3 photos? So literally, so many of them.
Pretty good metal straw.
Yeah. Like, or hi, love your account. We'll send you one free thing, but we want 5 photos.
Yeah.
Like, and which is a bit like, for companies, it's cheeky because they never ever ask a photographer to do that.
Yeah.
They never go like, oh, here, we'll give you a free shirt. Just take 50 photos for it. Like, they'll pay them. So in a way, like, it's cheeky, but at the same time, like, it would have like social media would have saved so many companies so much money. They don't have to pay top dollar for photographers and all the rest of it. Yeah.
So that started, and then it was like, all right, was it like a mindset shift? Like, holy shit, we can do this.
Yeah, kind of.
We're going to do it full time, or was it just like, this is going to support us traveling? Like, what was the kind of thought process?
Like, we could do this full time. Like, we can do it as a job. Like, this is a job now. Like, you would, like, how cool is that? Like, that people can do this for a living.
Yeah.
I think after the Northern Territory tourism job that we just done a few weeks ago, that was when it was sort of like, okay, if you actually want to do this, you can, because like, there's people out there that want you to work for them. Like, that was the coolest thing. Like, I never expected myself to be doing this like 5 years ago at all. Like, I always wanted to go traveling, but when we were talking to the lady from Tourism NT, she was like, well, at the start of the year, we wrote a wish list down of who we wanted to work with and what jobs, and the first names that come up were Hayley and I. It's like, they're like, we want these guys.
That's the company saying this to you?
Yeah,
right.
Tourism NT were like, we want Hayley and Kyle. That's our main priority, get them to do a job, which is like, that's so cool to hear.
Yeah.
Like, love that. And that was sort of when sort of clicked that like, fuck, you actually can do it if
Yeah.
you want to. Because I was always more about the travel. Haley was pretty motivated to do it as a job, but
Yeah.
I was like,
Were you skeptic like when you first heard?
a little bit.
It was like, nah, like this can't be true. Like,
Yeah, I was like,
no one. Yeah,
sort of. Yeah, I was like, no, it's bullshit. No, you can't make that much money doing that. Like,
Yeah.
you have to work a real job, like literally. And I know people think like that now, and I thought like that,
Yeah.
but you don't have to. You can just do what you love and like get paid for it, which is
and it must be like you said at the start, calling yourself an Instagrammer and like explaining to people.
Yeah.
Like people must just get a shock. Like
yeah,
just being like,
especially people that know me.
You do what? Like
Yeah,
you get paid to do what?
yeah.
Like,
Well, you've known me for 15 years.
Yeah.
Like, fuck.
you've always been a great photographer though.
Thanks, mate. But like, yeah, especially
definitely.
people that I haven't seen for a while, and like, they'll say to me, "Oh, like I seen your Instagram. Like, what are you doing?" Like,
Yeah.
And I'll have to be like, explain to them what we do.
Yeah.
And some people will sort of just give me shit about it. They're like, "Well, you're an Insta whatever, or you're this, and this." So yeah, sort of get a bit of flack of it. Get a bit of flack off me mates for it, but that's just got a bit of banter.
And like overcoming that, like most of the time, I'm sure it's probably harmless, like from your friends.
Yeah, but like I dive into it way too much, and I would care what people think way too much.
Yeah,
and be like, oh, I might look like a wanker doing this, and that's not my intention.
Yeah,
and I don't look like most of the time, but I know that some people just just be hating on you.
Yeah,
just because you're doing
something cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you knew it too much, and be like,
I think for me, it's probably just jealousy out of anything.
Yeah.
It's just like, holy shit, you're doing this. Like, that's awesome. Like,
yeah,
it's unbelievable.
I get that because I'd feel the same way. Hey?
Yeah.
And it's not like I've fully like made it. Like I'm still budget traveling, and I'm still have to budget when I get home. I'm definitely not rolling in the cash.
Yeah.
So like it's a full grind because it's super competitive. Everyone wants to do it. Like everyone's on Instagram. Like everyone. Like our mums and dads are on Instagram. Like you know what I mean? And everyone wants to be a travel blogger. So you've really got to put the work in, and there's a lot of unpaid hours that you've sit at a laptop editing photos, or like yesterday I was on the computer for like 14 hours doing my media kit, which is like an online resume, and I was hating it.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
I want to travel.
Yeah, I want to travel, not do this.
I think that like that for me, like again, the limited knowledge I know about it, about traveling and social media and everything, like there is a lot of hard work that goes into it. And I think that it's so easy to be like, oh, they just travel and just get paid to just travel. It's like, well, obviously that's part of it, but there is taking that photo, there's editing that photo, there's like building up, like especially like building up that community, like responding to emails, like
that's the hardest, man.
There's work.
There's so much work.
I know a lot of people be like, oh, these influencers and stuff, they do nothing, like they just get paid to look good.
100%.
It's like, all right, you try video yourself every day for the next 30 days and see how hard it is.
Yeah.
You try and post a photo every day for the next 30 days.
Exactly.
A meaningful photo, meaningful caption, like that people are going to enjoy. Like it's hard work.
Well, you're in the public eye a lot, so like you need to sort of, the people that follow you, they follow you for a reason. They don't just follow you for no reason. Like you've sort of got to keep producing good stuff. Yeah. Otherwise people get bored. But yeah, there's heaps of stuff that goes into it. Like since I've been working like a normal job, I've been on the laptop every day. Yeah. Just grinding, emailing people, responding to emails, doing just editing photos. Like it's not like you're just whacking a filter on a photo. Like, you've actually got to edit it. Yeah. Like, which takes time, but it's worth it. Yeah. It's definitely worth it in the end.
The downsides or negatives of travel?
Oh, heaps.
Probably a sadder note to talk about.
No, you need to talk about it.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Because people never ask you that. It's stressful at times. A lot of like locals, like in certain countries, just won't give you the time of day because you're foreign.
Is that like a language thing as well? Like
a little bit. You sort of have to make especially in France, Italy, always make an attempt at speaking their language first. Otherwise, they'll just brush you. And I've happened a lot. A lot of, in Oman especially, the men can be quite rude to women. We had a situation when we were in one of the wadis there, which is like a local swimming hole. I was there with me and Haley and two of my mates, Jackson and Elliot, and we're all just swimming, getting photos. And Haley was about to jump off this cliff, like not a big jump, into the water, and all the men around her just got their phones out and started taking photos of her with a bikini on.
Yeah, right.
That's a big downside.
Yeah.
In the Philippines as well, I went to fuel up the motorbike and left Haley on the beach on her own, and I was literally gone for 5 minutes, and I got back and Haley was in tears running up the beach. Some guy walked up to her, was circling around her on the beach, taking photos of her on her phone. So I think if you travel and you're a single girl on your own, just be mindful of that.
Yeah. A
lot of these countries don't really see girls in bikinis or girls wearing shorts and stuff. So that can be a downside. Some police in foreign countries can be a bit corrupt. Bit of a downside. But
keep some money in your pocket.
Yeah, man. We had it in Bosnia. I ran a red light and the cop pulled me over and he couldn't speak English at all, and I can't speak Bosnian. So I'm there.
You don't speak Bosnian? No.
You idiot. So I'm there trying to communicate with him what he wants to do, and he got his police handbook out and he was putting all this foreign language, and he just wrote down on his book €280.
Yeah,
like that. Like that's the fine. And I'm like, fuck, like that's a lot of money when you're traveling. So he went outside and talked to his cop mate, and then he come back in the car and he just wrote €50 ? Like that. That's all he wrote.
Yeah.
And then he pointed to the ATM.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh, right, okay, yep, no worries. So I walk to the ATM, come back in the car. He gets his cop hat, puts it over the camera in the car, and just points at the center console like that. And I just put the €50 down there, and he shook my hand, and that was it. Off.
Happy days.
Yeah, happy days. That actually worked out. But yeah, I think
just bribing cops left, right, and centre.
Yeah,
international criminal.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your kind of money tips or travel tips in terms of saving money and travelling on a budget? Literally
food.
Yeah.
Food is where your money goes. When we were traveling in the van the second time around, we'd do a big shop at Lidl, which is it's like Aldi.
Okay.
And we would buy tin chickpeas, tin beans, tin corn, tuna, bread, pasta, and make curry or chili or just really cheap food.
Yeah.
And we could literally live off €10 a day. And then but if you're going out, and especially in Western Europe and Southern Europe, like France and Italy and stuff, they'll tax you on everything. When you go to a restaurant, you'll be, if you're sitting outside, you get taxed for that. If you have water, that costs money. If you have bread, even though it's on the table, some places still tax you on that. So I think just food's the biggest thing that we found was money saver. In Asia, we stayed in hostels unless we were doing work for hotels. Yeah. We stayed in hostels. We didn't stay in hostels in Europe because we had the van. But just be smart with your money. Just be smart with it.
Did you have you would have had a lot of friends going to London probably around that time.
Yeah.
I know I travelled over there and did 6 weeks in London or London and Europe. And you get to London and there's a lot of people London's awesome, love it. And obviously it's a cool city and there's heaps going on. It's cool. What do you do? Have you been travelling? No, we just go out every night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Where? They're just just the pub.
Yeah.
Get pissed and it's great.
Aussies in London.
And it's you were doing that at home. I was have you been travelling? Nah, it's too expensive. Can't afford to travel.
Yeah, because you're blowing your money in the pub.
I was what are you doing here?
Yeah.
So that I'm sure you would have seen that.
Heaps, man. We got friends that we work with in Greece who in the winter will go back to London, and they only go between Greece and London because they can't afford to travel anywhere else because they just blow their money.
Yeah.
I just think that's so silly. On that side of the world, it's Ryanair's a budget airline. You can fly to
$7.
Literally, you can. I swear that we found a flight from London to Belgium for £7. It's not. Traveling's not expensive. It's seriously not.
Yeah.
If you just do it the smart way, it's not expensive.
Yeah.
Just sometimes you got to cop the shit flight and do the long haul whatever. But if you really want to do it, you don't need money. You can go out on a shoestring and do it. It really annoys me when people go to London and just get stuck in the London bubble. Yeah. Which it is awesome. It's a cool city, but there's better places than London out there.
Sit inside 4 walls and drink a couple of pints.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do that at Crumb and Creek Tavern.
Yeah.
Get out and about, man.
And if you learn about yourself, if you kind of
Yeah, I think I have. I think I've changed since I've gone travelling. I'm a lot more open-minded than I was before I left. I've always been pretty open-minded, but I feel like I'm more sort of about just do what you love.
Yeah.
I'm at the stage now in my life where if I'm not doing something I don't enjoy, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Like, fully am all about that. If you're working a job you hate, just quit. Like, money comes and goes, man. Like, I was pretty stressed, for the majority of the start of this year about money. And then once I sort of just let go of that, like, I'll make the money again. I'm just going to quit this job that I'm not enjoying. I was a lot happier. And I feel like traveling's definitely opened my mind to that, just doing what you love.
Was that because you had seen it that you could live on a shoestring?
Yeah, kinda. And I just sort of felt that when I came back here and I did the job that I was doing before I left, I just sort of, it was just going backwards for me a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like it's chilled me out a bit more because being in some of those stressful situations that we were in, especially in the van, you just got to deal with it. Like,
yeah,
man, we were in some stressful situations.
And like you said, it's obviously giving you appreciation for growing up in Australia, living in Australia.
Yeah.
Does it anger you when people complain and like
about Australia
and like especially the Gold Coast? And it's like,
yeah, I do. I've always hated that.
Yeah.
I hate when people say, "Oh no, fuck the Gold Coast," this and this. Man, we're so lucky to be from here. Like,
yeah,
this is probably the best place to grow up. But yeah, especially, and this is going back to Aussies in London. A lot of Australians that live in London, that stay in that London bubble, only complain about Australia. And I'm like, why would you complain about this place?
Yeah.
Like, each their own. If that's what they think, fair enough. But I just don't see it.
And like you talked about, you saved up a lot of money, you travelled on a budget, money was causing a bit of stress. Like, have you always kind of been good with your money?
Yeah. Always been good with money.
Yeah.
Always saved.
And was that something you were taught? Was that something you kind of just learned?
Aren't Scottish people taught us it?
I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. I don't know. I always just saved.
Yeah.
I never left myself nothing in my bank because that's not even about that wasn't because I wanted to save for something. Like, I just wanted to have the security. But now that I know that I can travel cheap and live cheap, I don't stress too much about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, always saved, always. I think that's from my dad. My dad sort of was just, drilled it into me at a young age to not blow your money. Yeah. He should have done it to my sister because she's not too good with it. But yeah.
And what's the future plans? What have you got? What's in the pipeline? What are your goals? What are your travel destinations? What are you thinking?
I want to keep traveling for a bit longer. I really want to do South America.
When you say a bit longer, is it like you got 6 months, 12 months, 5 years?
Got a couple of years left, I reckon. I want to do Patagonia, Argentina. I want to go to Africa really badly.
I can definitely recommend that.
Yeah, well, there you go. But I think future plans, I could see myself on the West Coast. I think there's a lot of opportunity over there.
Of Australia?
Yeah. Yep. I feel like there's heaps of opportunity, especially Esperance. After going there, and I just can't understand how more people don't know about it and why Western Australian tourism aren't putting everything into getting people to go there.
Yeah.
I just feel like starting something there would be a smart move because I feel like it's just going to blow up.
Yeah. Especially
with Instagrammers going there with big followings and showing the world like how beautiful it is. Like I've heard heaps of people I've spoke to that were like, fuck, we didn't even know what Esperance was before you guys went there.
Oh, that was me.
Yeah,
you saw you posting the photos. I was trying to figure out where it was.
Yeah.
I was like, this can't be in Australia.
Seriously, man. I just think that, future plans, I could see myself maybe doing something there.
Yeah.
But things change.
In terms of like job wise, like now that you are an influencer, content creator, like do you see it? Do you think it has an expiration date, or is it you just going to ride it and just see where it goes?
See where it goes. We've got some plans, me and Hales, to make more money off it. In the next few months, we've got a website coming up and stuff like that.
Yeah, obviously all travel based.
Yeah, and we'll sort of sell our photos from that, and our presets that we use to edit our photos.
Yeah,
people can buy them. But yeah, definitely want to keep going with this a bit longer. because I
and
love it.
you can see it sustaining.
Yeah.
You can keep yourself full-time
Definitely.
income to travel.
Yeah, if you just work hard and like you actually commit yourself to it, like anything, definitely. Because like especially Hayley, you know, we're both just so close to just being able to just make a full-time gig.
Yeah,
especially her, well, she is, but I'm not far away from doing it full-time. And as long as I'm doing it and people actually enjoy seeing what we're producing and stuff like that, that's all that I care about. I don't want people to look at me and think, "Oh, this guy's like a show off" or whatever, because I'm not like that at all. Like, you know.
Well, I think like looking, like obviously, knowing you, I know that full well.
Yeah.
But even looking at your Instagram, like you're not posting photos of you with your six-pack. And like,
because I don't know.
No, but like the photos you're posting, it's not.
Yeah.
You're not boasting. You're not sitting on a Lamborghini. You're not you're not doing stuff that so much you see so much other shit on Instagram.
That's the thing that like I hate about Instagram. Just the people that just only show the luxury side of travel, because it's like for so many people that's something that they can't achieve. Like for the normal person, like, you know, no one's going to be able to drive a Lamborghini through Abu Dhabi, or, you know, that I really don't like that side of it. I like the side when people are like inspiring people to go traveling and like showing them these places, and that's the side I like. Not about like the other side when it's, you know, like, you know, that sort of this is what I have. Like, what do you have? Yeah, that sort of stuff. Like, not about that. I don't like that.
Yeah. What's your Instagram tips to get more followers? I'm sure everyone asks you that.
I don't know. Literally, man, I just post good photos. Yeah. I don't tag, you know, how you can do tag for likes or anything like that. I don't do any of that sort of stuff. I don't do the follow unfollow thing. I just think if you just make good content and people like it and you just be real, you know, like at the end of the day, just be real. Yeah. Like, no matter how many followers you got, you're still a human being like everyone else. Like, if people see that you're just a normal person,
I think that really comes through in your captions.
Yeah.
In your photo, that was one thing that following you while you were traveling. Yeah. That was the thing that, like, awesome photo.
Average caption.
You somehow became a photographer overnight. I didn't know how it worked, but then your caption was like, "Yeah, that's Carl." Yeah. Like, it was just
a baller.
It's you.
Just, that's what. Yeah, I like. That's what I want, man. Yeah. I want people to like be able to relate, like, to me. I'm just like anyone else, but just makes travel a priority. Yeah, like that's it.
I think that's a really good way to put it. Just that's your priority. That's your goal.
Yeah, I'm not like trying to. I want people to go places because we went there and we showed them how cool it was. Like I love that. Hey, when we get messages like people saying, "Oh, we didn't even," like, especially with Northern Territory in Arnhem Land, we'll get messages, people like literally booking tickets to go there because we showed them. Like, that's so cool. I reckon. Like, I love that. Yeah, I love that people do that. That's the best part about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any photography tips from a seasoned photographer?
You just got to be at it a lot. You can't really.
Like, are you constantly walking around with the camera in your hand? Like,
when we're traveling,
looking for that. Like this might be a good one. Like, do you go to places to be like, all right, we're going here? Like, obviously, when you do it for a job, you are, but you go in there to get a certain photo.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
You know what you're looking for, or is it kind of spur in the moment?
No, we don't really. With our shots, a lot of it's planned. Like, we'll look on like Pinterest or you know, even other people's Instagrams to see like what the cool places are, and a lot of the shots are we know what we're going there for. You just gotta be at it. That's like the main tip for me, and just go when the light's right and just have the camera in your hand ready to go. Yeah, that's the main tip I got. And just go for it, and things work out. Most of the time, man, we'll go somewhere and then we'll find something even better, like at that same spot. Like, we'll go there thinking of a frame and we'll find something better. So just be creative and just leave all your options open, sort of thing.
And I'm sure everyone asks, like you already said before, what kind of camera you use, but is that the number one question people ask? Like, what camera do you use?
Heaps.
That's how you get good photos with. What camera you use?
Well, the camera, like, it's like we've spent a fair bit of money on the camera equipment that we use, but that's the main question. What do you shoot with? The underwater ones are the ones that we get the most, and like when we say it's just a GoPro and a a dome housing, people like can't believe it, because we looked at buying a housing for the Canon and it was like $2,500.
Yeah.
But we literally bought the...
What brand was it?
Just
do a shout out.
Aquatech, if you're listening, that's what
we need a new housing.
Yeah. But man, we literally bought this housing for our GoPro and it was $100 from City Beach, and like...
That's crazy.
Yeah, we get the best photos underwater.
Yeah.
That's the main question we get. What underwater equipment is it? And it's a GoPro. So GoPro, if you're listening, this is a sponsored post.
Go Hunter. Yeah. So bucket list travel, what's your number one place that you're dying to get to?
That's a hard one. That's so hard. Patagonia.
Yeah.
Argentina. There too.
Do you have a list of places that you're ticking off? Like, are you constantly like
not really? We're
counting how many countries you're going to? And
I haven't. I think it's like 34 or 35 we've been to now. But yeah, bucket list. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I have to think about that.
Or maybe not even travel, like just something you want to achieve, like big, small, something that's on the list.
Man, everything's up in the air right now.
Yeah.
I'm literally just going with the flow. I've got a few ideas that I want to do, but I'm just, keeping everything open at the moment. But definitely travel bucket list, South America and Central. I'd love to go there. That'll be our next spot. Once we get home from Europe this year, I'll be home in September.
So what's the plans in Europe? What are you doing there?
I work in EOS at Lost Boys Bar, which my good friends Reese and Caroline own. They're legends. But yeah, going back this year with a bit more of a hands-on role with the bar, which I want.
Yeah.
Man, I could even see myself opening a bar in Greece or doing something in Greece.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things in the pipelines, but nothing's really confirmed. So
anything you want to leave the listeners with? Any tips? Any words of wisdom?
Just go and get it. If you want to go traveling, just do it. Like, don't wait around, because if we waited around, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you right now about travel.
Yeah.
Like, literally, just go and get it. If you want to travel, make it work, and you can. Just be smart with your money and just go for it. That's my only advice. I tell people that all the time. Well, how can we travel? How do you do it? Just do it. Like, it's not a hard thing to do. People get so wrapped up and, scared to leave the comfort zones. But, once you do it, you won't regret it. I guarantee you won't regret it.
And where can people go to find you?
Instagram, just Kyle_Hunter. That's my only social handle, just Instagram.
If you've enjoyed this episode of More Than Money, make sure that you subscribe to keep up to date with all of the latest episodes. And feel free to like, comment, and share with a friend.